What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Week 5, fantasy football. Fantasy football. Man, the season's kind of settling in. I mean,
Quarter of the way, quarter.
this is kind of the point of the season where it's like start to get serious. Players start to separate and like show consistency. Same with like the teams in general in the NFL. Once you hit week 5, it feels like we're in the meat of the season. So you have
Right before all the buys. And
you have like the 4 preseason games, and then you have the 4 like games. Like teams are still kind of developing, finding like who they're going to be for the rest of the season, like what their identity is. So once you hit week 5, I mean, this has got to be, if your team hasn't kind of figured out what they're going to be or like how they can be a good team or a good fantasy player by now, it's hard for that to change unless there's like injuries or they get traded to a different team. Obviously that's not the case in everywhere, but definitely feels like that. How about you, Seth? How you doing?
pretty good. Fantasy's off to, knock on wood. A nice shirt, wait, Nagy, nice shirt.
Big time. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So great start fantasy, 3-1, 3-1, and 2-2. So and then this league 3-1. So very good start. Hopefully that continues. But it is kind of the, like you said, the witching hour almost of the fantasy season where, are you gonna buy into this guy?
Yeah.
And trade him? And what if you trade him and he continues to, go off or
Yeah. And
continues to fall off?
we talked about trading a lot last week, so this might be like kind of like everyone's last opportunity to be able to acquire first 3-round ADP guys who are off to like a really slow start. Because if they are gonna like have a decent season,
They
like
probably gonna do it by now.
they probably might start like right about now if they started slow, or they just might be ass.
Not big, yeah.
Like
That's
I don't know.
Yeah, Robert Woods.
Yeah. He could still have like an amazing like top 15 receiver season. Like maybe Cooper Kupp is just like route running his fucking brain out right now and is just getting open like great. But that's the other thing. Now that he's doing really well, like teams gotta like get ready for that.
Double cover, yeah.
Robert Woods could have some opportunities. So we'll get into more like players on our team. If you want to see players not on our team that we talked about last week that are good targets or to trade for or to trade away, check out our week 4 episode. But we didn't talk about the Victory Lab League itself last week, so let's touch on that and see how we're doing, see how the rest of the teams are doing. So I think next year we're going to do all one league. We talked to Michael about that. It just makes more sense for fantasy football. There's like, if there was a guy, like if like Dave Whitfield, like if he finished the regular season's 1 extra week this year. So there's 14 regular season weeks, I believe. So Mr. Whitfield went, say, 8-6. But since if he was the 4 ranked on the West, he would miss out. But like the 3 over here, kind of like the MLB playoff.
Yeah.
I like it for baseball because it's such a long season, but for fantasy football, when it's only like you only have 4 or 14 regular season matchups.
Like, and it's way more luck, involved too, compared to, huge sample size versus small sample size. It's a lot of luck involved as well.
Yeah. So as you can see, Seth, me, and Noah, Seth, Noah, and I, in case there's any grammar Nazis out there, we are in first place in the West. We are 3-1, and somehow we don't have the highest percentage in our division to make the playoffs. I don't know. ESPN and like the IBM Watson is. I just want to go fucking Yahoo for every single fantasy league I have. Like,
yeah,
whatever. Moan for Cone. I think that's Andrew Aronowski.
Was I high on that team? I want to see.
Yeah,
Was that?
I think you and I were. But he is Ryan Aronowski. He's the only undefeated team left. Jalen Hurts, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift having a really decent season. Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, TJ Hawkinson. He's had two down weeks in a row, and he's still 4-0. Hollywood Brown, pretty decent. Obviously dropping a lot, but it's also catching a lot. Pretty solid bench for the most part. Dalton Schultz, in case to trade Hawkinson to a guy that really needs a tight end. Joe Burrow, I think, is a great guy to have too if Jalen's facing even like the Cowboys at this point. They have pretty good defense. So I mean, so that's that. I'm gonna go back and just like for comparison, kind of like we talked about in the intro, like who's doing well for fantasy teams in general, who's doing bad for fantasy teams in general. Wow. I mean, like Austin Eckler, like that's hard to be 0-4 with Austin Eckler on your team.
Yeah. This is Stafford too. I mean, Stafford go down.
This is Alex Disbury, and I'm pretty sure he won the league last year, so he's got to be heated. Tyler Lockett, who's hurt. So he has Michael Thomas, Antonio Gibson on the bench. So
that's I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. It's like that team looks like better than an 0-4 team, but
yeah,
just different guys having different good weeks at a time. He probably didn't start Patterson until maybe last week, but probably not even. Because he probably would have won last week, scored more than 100.
Well, if he was in last place, he probably got him off the waiver like after like week 2 or week 3. But Tyler Lockett, Cortland, George Kittle's off to a slow start. I feel like that's another guy. Kittle's probably like the perfect example for the tight end position, what we were talking about earlier. Like, is he gonna return to form, or are the 49ers gonna fucking block with him for 50% of the offensive plays? I mean, I don't have him in any league this year, thankfully, but the only reason I know that is because we watched that 49ers Packers game very closely, and all we needed to do to hit that same game parlay was a George Kittle touchdown, and he was fucking blocking the whole time in the red zone. So, and I wanted the Packers to lose because fuck the Packers. So that's Alex's team, only 0-4 team. Let's check the standings one more time before we go back to our team. So we're feeling good. It is kind of scary that there's a shit ton of 2-2 teams when you're in first place. So I mean, I wish this showed our oh, here we go. So this is league overall. So league overall, we only have that's points allowed. We only have the 5th most points for. So we are getting kind of matchup lucky so far. And then if you look at our points allowed, we have the third
least
lowest.
You can click on PA. It sorts it if you. Third. Yeah, third least amount of points.
Points for, we have the 5th most. So I mean, we're still doing a good job. Maybe like I could easily see us being 2-2 and just like middle of the pack right now. But I mean, even though it is only a 14-week regular season, like it definitely can even itself out very quickly. So we're in 2nd overall across the board. We got 2 teams already. Oh, never mind. We have 2 teams that have made 0 moves. Mr. Whitfield and Mr. Berry, not this Berries, but Mr. Kyle Berry. I don't understand that. The league was only $25 to play, but like really, like 0 fucking. Oh my God! So does Katie. Katie.
3.
I'm gonna draft Justin Fields and make 0 moves. So Ryan Schaefer has 14, and we have 9. So we have the 2nd most. You see a couple 7s in there.
It is funny like to correlate. I don't know the direct correlation, but at the end of the year, see who made the most moves and how that. Because sometimes if you make too many moves, I've seen I think Noah's one of the best fantasy players I know, but sometimes like he'll be on the waiver wire adding
Too
and
much.
dropping,
Yeah.
and then
too
you
much.
might drop, you might drop a valuable guy that another guy picks up. So there's definitely a good number. I mean, there's really no right number, but you don't want to be non-existent on the waiver wire, but you
Yeah,
also don't want to just be, add and drop in the same guy. You kind of want to hold, a little bit.
I agree. So the other thing we're going to talk about, like I said last week, Seth and I, we talked about players in general across fantasy football that have interesting trade for and trade away situations so far through the first 3 weeks. Now through 4 weeks, we're looking at our team, and that's the thing. Like if you don't, it's okay if you don't make a trade like through the whole season, but you should always at least try. That was one of the big things we mentioned. Like, even if you don't get a trade to go through, and if you're at least like putting trades out, trying to make your team better, like there's nothing you can do more than that, or like at least you're trying, kind of thing. So this is our team. Zeke is coming around really nice. Jonathan Taylor, they both had a really good week 4. That's great to see. It's kind of tough matchup for Jonathan Taylor on Monday night against Baltimore, but this is just for this week. I mean, we look at Jonathan Taylor, we look at the Colts. We know they're playing the Texans. We know they're playing the Jaguars. Jesus.
And he's like averaging. He's got good. I mean, I know the first 2 weeks, but last 2 weeks he's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. Like
Yeah. He's still
you know.
fine. I'm very happy with getting him in the middle of the second round, especially with how he performed against Miami. So Baltimore is going to be a tough matchup for him this week, but we got Houston, 49ers, dog shit,
Tennessee,
dog shit, Jets, dog shit, Jag. If we get to week 10 right there, I don't know when the trade deadline is for this league. I should probably know that. But after like one of these 3 games, like if he's booming, like that could be a trade opportunity for us with Jonathan Taylor. Because we still got Michael Carter's been doing well. Like if we were able to trade Jonathan Taylor for like a partner, like pair him up with someone and get a fire receiver, I'd be very cool with that. Because like Michael Carter's actually starting to do his thing, which we said he was get involved during the draft. So he has 2 double-digit point weeks already, and he gets to play the Falcons this week. Falcons, New England, Cincinnati. So he's cool. I feel like we got good value out of where we drafted him. Jared Cook, we're currently streaming between Mike Gesicki and Jared Cook on and off the bench still. Odell is very interesting. Seth, what do you think about how we are going to move forward the next couple of weeks concerning
that's
Odell,
tough, man.
and concerning our other 2 options are Jacoby Myers and Darnell Mooney?
Yeah, they're all like your prototypical flex guys. Like the decisions you have to make every Sunday. Like those are 3 of the probably top 10 names every week. I've been going back and forth with Odell though. I mean, last week, the first week he was back, I was high on him. He did pretty well. Last week I was kind of like, and this week I'm kind of like, as well. Especially with Baker's kind of injury, this week, and just the Browns run so much. Like they have such a good line and 2 really good running backs.
Yeah,
and
they don't really need to pass it very much.
Like they don't really need Odell. He's a nice luxury to have. So he just kind of has a low ceiling, and like I think his ceiling's not as high as some of the guys.
Yeah, if Odell was on like 80% of the other teams in the NFL, like he would be an easy wide receiver 2 start like pretty much every week.
Yeah, like I mean, even look at like Jacoby Myers. Do I think Odell's better than Jacoby Myers? Yes, but Jacoby Myers is
in a better
killing all the
he's in a better
target
situation.
He's getting all the targets. And he's like, yeah, if you look at Jacoby Myers, like he's probably getting 6 or 7 average receptions a week. 6, 4, 9, 8, so even more.
That's 7. That's 7.5 or 8. That's
so
7.5 on average.
He's not scoring, but like he's gonna give you a very good
fire.
floor.
I'm so happy with that. We drafted Jacoby Myers in like the 8th or
Or
9th.
do we get him off free agency? I thought maybe, or it was near the last round.
Oh, I'm thinking of no, I'm thinking of I think I'm mixing him up with where we actually drafted Odell.
And I'm getting shit. I got shit in my other league for trading Jacoby Myers for Robert Woods. And I don't know. It might come back to bite me. I mean, Robert Woods,
Yeah, and
you know, but
honestly, credit to the Patriots. I think they could somehow squeeze into the playoffs this year, and I hate the Patriots, so I'm not
Yeah.
saying that lightly. I really do think they're
I
gonna.
mean, yeah, they got Houston this week. They also get to play the Dolphins, which I don't think are very good.
They lost them the
Again,
first time, but they're a better team now than they were in week 1.
yeah, and I think Mac Jones is continuing to improve. I mean, Dallas. I mean, they'll probably beat Houston. They'll probably lose to Dallas. Jets.
It's looking like a 9-8 or an 8-9.
Get them in depending. I mean, the AFC North and South don't look like they're going to get 2 teams in. It looks like it's going to be the I mean, probably I don't know.
My whole point there was just like, I think Mac Jones is a top 3 guy for offensive rookie of the year so far. So
Mhm.
like, that's a great guy to go out and stream for right now in fantasy leagues. Like, he's not going to be like a premier price. But if there's like a Patriot fan in your fantasy league that really wants Jacoby Myers, like, you could get good value for him in that instance. Definitely use that against the people you're trading with. Like, if they're offering you trades and someone involved in who you're giving up is someone on their favorite actual NFL team, like, bro, charge them like a semi-premium. Fuck them over, get
Yeah.
a good value. But I think that's about it.
One real quick thing. I was looking at projections. I love Cooper Kupp. He's projected almost 24 this week.
Yeah, that's
nuts.
insane.
That's insane.
That's like Christian McCaffrey type of numbers.
As a wide receiver.
But
That's nuts.
the Seattle Seahawks defense is pretty bad.
It is.
Let's go back to the standings real quick. I would say, like, just kind of thinking about those guys that we could trade or try to decide to hold on to. You want to, at this point in the season, it's okay. Like, go to like the bottom 2 or bottom 3 teams in your league. Like, these are guys that are going to start feeling nervous. Like, oh my God, I'm 0-4. Oh my God, I'm 1-3. I need a trade. Or
And you know what jump exactly. You know what jumps off the page for here? You know, Eckler, but the guy Antonio Gibson, probably at end of first round, early second, he's benched him. So that tells you, like, you know, hey,
he's upset.
maybe throw him somebody that's maybe overperforming on our team, and you know, see what we could get. Because I mean, is Gibson going to be as good as last year? I don't know, but like, he's a first round, early second talent. And, you know, if we could get him for a guy that's probably overperforming, or a guy we, you know, got off waivers even, and, you know, package that together, who knows?
Yeah. Kind of endless possibilities. I'd be scared to trade for Cordero. Like, I really have no fucking clue how he's doing the things he's doing.
I think the thing is, he's going to go off again this week. Ridley's out. Gage is out.
I think the Jets have a sneaky good defense, though.
They do, but like, one of the only options
Yeah.
in that offense on Sunday, him and Pitts. So I
think their run defense is better than their pass, slightly better than their pass defense. So.
I agree.
So if
but Cordero, I guess his touchdowns were receiving. So who knows?
Well, these running games are always pretty fucking low scoring and ugly. So
yeah,
we'll see. So that's just like Antonio Gibson, Eckler, even Michael Thomas could be targets that we take on this 0-4 team. And then the one other team that's 1-3, I think he had Alvin Kamara. No, Najee Harris.
CD.
CD has a low price in a lot of leagues. If you think CD is going to bounce back and the Cowboys offense is going to keep tearing shit up, like, go offer some trades for CD Lamb. People are probably really frustrated with how he's done so far this year. I mean, God, he looks like a girl in that picture. I mean, he started really hot last 2 weeks. He's only averaged 6.4 points between the past 2 weeks. So, go offer like a, I don't know.
Odell, and although we have Zeke, so that was a thing at the draft. Like we were interested in
Yeah, you could
CD,
do,
but
and if it's a guy that's like struggling, you could do like, you could honestly pair one of the guys you got off the waivers even. So like Odell and Damian Harris or Damian Williams. Fuck.
Damian Williams, yeah.
Right. Don't be like, even if they say no, we mentioned that last week. Even if they say no, your team doesn't change. Like it doesn't hurt your team if another team turn, like last night. I'll use this as an example. In Noah's league, I'm 3-1, and I offered the 0-4 team a trade. I offered him Antonio Brown, Miles Sanders, and shit.
Mike Williams. I'm a receiver.
Yeah, Mike Williams. And I thought I was giving him good stuff. I'm really deep at receiver in that league. And I requested
I'm looking at his team right now. Who would be either Barkley, Tyreek?
yeah,
Kittle?
Barkley and Damian Williams. And he declined it in about an hour. So I offered him Mike Williams, got top 10 numbers for wide receiver, because I don't think he's going to hold those numbers, and they have a tough schedule. So Mike Williams, I offered him Mike Williams, Antonio Brown, and Miles Sanders. And I know Miles Sanders has been bad, but like I'm offering him pretty much to replace Damian Williams.
Yeah, who's got a life of like 4 to 5 weeks, until Mike comes back.
And I'm just hurting at running back right now. Like I have a lot of injuries, so I was just kind of streaming him for the time being until Christian McCaffrey and Joe Mixon get back. So that was kind of a tangent, but you kind of it's kind of a good.
I agree.
Just offer it. Just go make some trades. Again, like if we wanted to just lowball for CD. This guy has really good fucking depth at wide receiver, like Emmanuel Sanders, Marvin Jones Jr., Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. Like we really could go at his team and like even ask for Tyreek, because he could easily funnel like a Marvin Jones into his flex. Offer him. We'd probably offer like Jonathan Taylor if I had to be like, if Jonathan Taylor's like keeps having a couple solid weeks, we could go Jonathan Taylor and one of our tight ends if Robert Tonyan is struggling, and
which he is,
and a running back. So yeah, Jonathan Taylor and a running back or a tight end for Tyreek. That's kind of how that would work in my mind. Which we're trading our second round running back and a late round tight end for a first round receiver. That's kind of how trades are formulated and kind of look. So
yeah, and the other thing is too, you can't look at you can't really look at where they were drafted. It kind of goes out the window once the season starts.
Right. I think now it's still kind of early enough in the season to I think it's good for like the first 5 or 6 weeks, but then maybe like the last 3 or 4 weeks before the deadline, it's like I hear what you're saying. Some people have a hard time, like the people you're trading with. I'm not saying us, but I'm saying people we're trading with. They're like, oh, that was my first round pick, though. It's like, oh, he's not playing like a first rounder.
If you look back, like at the end of the year, look at your draft, just like the draft results, and kind of see, and then you'll be like, oh, that was a miss, a huge miss. And so it doesn't mean first round is always the best value.
Yeah. All right, last thing, we're just going to look at our matchup this week. We are playing Team Barry, who is
that the 1-3 team? 1-3 team, I think.
Frick, I can't remember.
Just go to scoreboard.
Yeah, I hate ESPN's app.
I know, it should be matchups.
So we got matchup.
We're +10.
Oh my God, no free ads. It's Justin Herbert, bitch. Oh my God, he's fucking those drones up. They're really gonna make. Did
they give us a preview, or I've never seen this, honestly?
I should have hit the box score. I hit the wrong thing.
Oh, it's just fantasy cast.
All right, so I'm gonna hit the other one. That's kind of hard to see. No, I definitely hit scoreboard.
I think you want to go, yeah, box score, yeah.
Yeah, not
They'll
match.
give you like,
All right,
oh, I see a
so
lot of green.
we are projected to win by 9 or 10. Sorry, fuck me, bad math. Yep, lots of green. We'll show the benches too, just to kind of show. Can I move this? Can I move our heads? That should be all right. It doesn't show. Does it show you what our heads on your screen? Are we minimizing?
Yeah, it shows me yours, yeah.
I think I just okay. So yeah, Lamar definitely starting. Zeke, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Cup. Duh. It'll be interesting to see Jerry Jeudy when he gets back. It's obviously still like 4 more weeks at least, possibly 6. His was high ankle sprain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Judy's just kind of in the back of the mind, unless someone offers a trade for him, which that'd be weird. But we're definitely not trading. The only other change like we mentioned earlier would be Mooney for Odell, but we're not going to do that. I think Mooney's definitely got the better matchup anyways. If Odell has a really good week 5, it'll put us in kind of an interesting position. This guy is straight benching Miles Sanders. The 1-3 team, I respect it.
I mean, yeah, maybe Melvin. Yeah, I mean, but that's not. I guess it's not egregious, though.
I'm scared. I would against Carolina. Carolina's got a good D. That's a tough decision for Barry there. But
the Steelers do have a pretty good defense, so
I would say
Melvin Gordon.
I would say he probably made the right decision, but I could definitely see, depending on like the Eagles coach, like Jalen is definitely not running as much as people thought this year. Like Miles could definitely come back in some of these ground and pound games and just hit for like 18, 20, 22 points. Curtis Samuel, ouch. I thought he was going to have a better season. Marvin Jones Jr., interesting. But like we kind of already said earlier, like his wide receivers are pretty stupid. I actually think I would start Marvin Jones against Tennessee before CeeDee Lamb against the Giants. What do you think about that?
It's probably not a bad decision, but it's very bold. I mean, it's just you're sacrificing. Not that Marvin Jones doesn't have upside, but CeeDee Lamb has like.
CeeDee definitely has the higher ceiling in the matchup. But
he's playing the Giants, so I mean, not that the Giants aren't great either. If it was like,
I mean,
it was a tougher matchup.
The Titans got a bottom 5 defense, bro.
Titans aren't good. I don't think the Titans. Titans are Derrick Henry, and that's
right. And like with AJ Brown and Julio Jones still being hurt, like, I mean, they're gonna have the ball majority. I don't know. That's just me. I do agree though, since he's projected to lose by 10, you might as well leave CD in there and like just pray like your high ceiling guys have a high ceiling game type of deal. But if this was a closer projection, I think I would start Marvin Jones if it was like really close in projection.
Yeah, he definitely has some opportunity on his team though. Just looking at like tight end and running back position, he's got a lot of quality receivers.
Yeah, even Emmanuel Sanders against the Chiefs, like,
yeah, that's gonna be a sling fest.
I wouldn't hate that over CD either. I think it's hilarious that he still has Deshaun Watson on his bench, but all right. Seth, any other comments going into week 5?
Not really. I think I play you in a nose league this week. So
do you?
Best of luck too. Yeah.
I checked my roster. I didn't even look at the matchup though.
We got a couple guys going. I think you got Lockett and Higbee tonight. I think I got Woods. So
yep, I got Lockett in 2 of my leagues. This is gonna be an interesting week for Lockett. I did say at the beginning of the season I loved him. And he was really good first 2 weeks, and then the past 2 weeks he's had single digits. So this is going to be a big game for him. We'll see. The Rams defense I think the Rams or the Cardinals might have given the Seahawks like the cheat code to like how to break the Rams defense for this week. Obviously, I don't really know how I would be lying if I knew how good Seattle's O line is. I think it's just middle. Like I think it's the most mid offensive lines in the league. Like I don't think it's good or bad.
It used to be pretty bad. I think it's improved a little
It
bit.
was
But
bad. It was like mediocre last year, but I haven't heard any complaints. So for my sake, I obviously want Tyler Lockett to go up, and I want our takes to be right. We'll do an updated takes list next week. So some of the guys we talked about preseason, we'll kind of go back over those. Also, if there's like other stuff you guys want us to talk about during these episodes, like again, leave us a message on the video here on YouTube. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Gonna mention our sponsor again. Just acquired a sponsor about a week and a half ago. West Wind Brewery. It's in Elkhart, Indiana. So all our Michiana people, what's up? They're going to be hosting a pre-game preview party for the Notre Dame USC game. So one of our hosts for the Insight Irish podcast acquired that. Shout out Kate. So if you're interested in that, going to the bar, having some nice beers, great beers, check out our Twitter and their Twitter, Westwind. I think I'm saying it right? I can't be saying it wrong if I'm talking. I haven't been there.
Westwind. Yeah, we gotta check it out sometime.
Yeah, it's Westwind. Westwind Brewery Company. Also follow them. They got really good food, and I'm looking at their Twitter now. It's making me very hungry. So check them out. Stay up to date on Victory Lap Media's main page. If once we do have a specific time that the watch preview party is going to happen, it's going to be the Friday before the game, it sounds like. But just in case that does change, make sure you follow us so you don't miss that update if you're interested in going. Seth, anything?
Not today. Let's on to week. Fun fact?
Sure. And then as soon as you give the answer, I'll end it. Or how about the biggest fuck you in fantasy football from week 4?
The biggest fuck you?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
Be someone on your team or just in general?
I had a pretty good week, but I will say biggest fuck you would be to Daryl Williams for cucking Clyde Edwards-Helaire multiple times this year.
Yeah, very true. Man, I did talk about Clyde big before the season, so we'll get.
I mean, he's put. I mean, not the but he's had a couple nice weeks, but he's got a tough matchup this week.
My big fuck you will be Nick Folk. Goodbye.
There we go.